I never believed in blind dates, especially not on Valentine's Day. But there I was, sitting across from a stranger in a dimly lit cafe, wondering how I let my best friend talk me into this. I should have known better. I'd been down this road before. The awkward small talk, the forced smiles, the uncomfortable silences that stretch too long, and then the polite goodbye that really means you'll never see each other again. But Emma insisted. She'd been pestering me for weeks. You can't spend another Valentine's Day alone, watching depressing movies and eating ice cream straight from the tub, she'd said, her voice full of that annoying mix of pity and determination. I'd argued, told her I was fine, that I didn't need anyone, that I'd actually grown to appreciate my own company. All of it was true. Mostly. 3 years had passed since my last relationship ended. 3 years since I'd watched someone I loved walk away because I wasn't enough, because my career took too much time, because I couldn't be the person they needed me to be. I'd rebuilt myself after that, brick by brick. I'd learned to be okay alone, or so I told myself. Emma wouldn't take no for an answer, though. She had this friend of a friend who was also single, also dreading Valentine's Day, also, apparently, perfect for me. Just one date, she'd pleaded. If it's terrible, I'll never set you up again. I promise. So I agreed, mostly to shut her up, partly because some small, stubborn part of me still hoped. His name was Daniel. That's all I knew going in. Daniel, 29, works in architecture, likes coffee and old movies. Generic enough to be anyone, specific enough to make me curious. I arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early. Anxiety does that to me. Makes me show up too soon, overthink everything, imagine all the ways something can go wrong. The cafe was decorated for Valentine's Day. Red hearts everywhere. Couples holding hands across tables. The air thick with romance and expectation. I felt out of place immediately. I ordered a cappuccino and chose a table near the window. Watch people walk by outside. Couples mostly. Everyone seemed to have someone tonight. I checked my phone. 13 minutes until he was supposed to arrive. My hands were shaking slightly. I hated that. Hated feeling nervous about something so simple as meeting another human being. But dating did that. Stripped away your confidence. Made you question everything about yourself. I dressed carefully tonight. Not too formal. Not too casual. A burgundy sweater that Emma said brought out the warmth in my eyes. Jeans that actually fit well. My hair down instead of in its usual ponytail. I looked like I was trying. Which I was. Which made me feel vulnerable. 10 minutes. I sipped my cappuccino. Too hot. Burned my tongue slightly. Great start. I was considering leaving when the door opened and someone walked in. Tall. Dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead. Wearing a gray coat and looking around the cafe with the same nervous energy I felt. Our eyes met. He smiled. Tentatively. I smiled back. Also tentatively. He walked over. Are you waiting for someone named Daniel? He asked. His voice was softer than I expected. Gentle. I am, I said. And you must be waiting for someone whose name Emma refused to tell you. He laughed. It was a real laugh. Not forced. She said it would be more authentic if we were both going in blind. He said, taking off his coat. I'm Daniel. I'm Sophie, I said. We shook hands. His were warm. Mine were probably cold from nerves. He sat down across from me, and for a moment we just looked at each other, sizing each other up the way people do on first dates. He had kind eyes. That's the first thing I noticed. Brown and honest. So, he said, Emma is your friend. Best friend since college, I confirmed. You? Friend of my colleague, he said. I've actually only met Emma twice. But apparently that was enough for her to decide we should meet. She can be pushy when she thinks she knows what's best for you, I said. Is she usually right? I considered that. Sometimes. Not always. The jury's still out on this one. He smiled again. Fair enough. The waiter came over and Daniel ordered a black coffee. Simple. No sugar. No milk. So, I said, falling into the standard first date script. Architecture. Yeah, he said. I design buildings that people mostly ignore until they fall apart. I laughed. That's a bleak way to describe it. Realistic, he corrected. But I love it anyway. There's something about creating spaces where life happens. Where people fall in love, or have their first kiss, or make memories. There was a softness in his voice when he said that. Something genuine. What about you? He asked. What do you do? I'm a graphic designer, I said. Freelance mostly. Which means I work from home in my pajamas and forget what day it is half the time. Sounds perfect, he said. It has its moments. His coffee arrived. He wrapped his hands around the cup like he needed the warmth. Can I be honest about something? He asked suddenly. My stomach tightened. Here it comes, I thought. The confession that he's not actually single. Or he's moving to another country. Or he's still in love with his ex, sure, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I almost canceled tonight, he said. 3 times. I had my finger hovering over the send button on my phone to text Emma that I couldn't make it. I relaxed slightly. Why didn't you? Because I'm tired of being afraid, he said simply. Something in those words hit me harder than I expected. Because I understood them. Completely. I get that, I said quietly. Do you? I nodded. I almost didn't come either. Stood outside for 5 minutes debating whether to just go home. What changed your mind? I thought about it. I guess I was tired of being afraid too. He looked at me then. Really looked at me. And something shifted in the air between us. The conversation started flowing easier after that. We talked about everything. Work and hobbies and favorite movies and worst travel experiences and what we thought about when we couldn't sleep. He told me about growing up with 2 older sisters who tormented him lovingly. I told him about being an only child who spent too much time in her own head. We laughed. Actually laughed. Not polite first date laughter, but real, genuine amusement. Time moved strangely. An hour passed like minutes. The cafe was getting more crowded. More couples arriving for their Valentine's dates. The noise level rising. Want to get out of here? Daniel asked. Maybe walk for a bit. I should have been nervous about that. About extending the date. About breaking the safety of a public place with strangers around. But I wasn't. Yeah, I said. I'd like that. We paid and left. The cold February air hit us immediately. I pulled my coat tighter around me. We walked without a destination. Just moved through the city streets talking. He told me about the building he was currently designing. A community center in a neighborhood that needed one. How he wanted it to feel welcoming. Open. Safe. I told him about a branding project I was working on. A small bookstore trying to stay alive in a world of digital everything. Do you believe places like that can survive? He asked. I have to, I said. Otherwise, what's the point of any of it? He nodded like he understood exactly what I meant. We ended up in a small park. Empty mostly. A few other couples scattered on benches. There was a fountain in the center. Not running because of the cold, but beautiful anyway. We sat on a bench near it. Can I ask you something personal? Daniel said after a moment of comfortable silence. You can ask, I said. I might not answer. Why did you really agree to this date? I looked at him. His expression was serious. Curious. Honestly. Because I'm lonely, I said. The words came out before I could stop them. Not all the time. And not in a desperate way. But sometimes. On nights like tonight when everyone else seems to have someone, and I'm just not. He didn't look away. Didn't seem uncomfortable with my honesty. I'm lonely too, he said quietly. Even though you have friends? Family. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone, he said. You can have a full life and still feel like something's missing. I knew that feeling. Had lived with it for 3 years. My last relationship ended badly, I said. I don't know why I was telling him this. Why I was being so open. But something about him made it feel safe. He said I was too focused on work. Too unavailable. He needed someone who could give him more. That must have hurt, Daniel said. It did. Still does sometimes. Because part of me wonders if he was right. If I'm capable of being what someone needs. You're capable, Daniel said with certainty. You just haven't found someone who understands that loving you means accepting all of you. Including your work. Your passions. The things that make you who you are. I felt tears prick at my eyes. Unexpected. Unwanted. Sorry, I said, blinking them back. This is way too heavy for a first date. I don't mind heavy, he said. Light and easy is overrated. I laughed despite myself. Most people run from heavy. I'm not most people. We sat in silence for a while. It wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. I found myself studying his profile. The way his jaw was set. The slight furrow in his brow, like he was thinking about something serious. Daniel, I said. Yeah. Why did you really agree to this date? He took a breath. Let it out slowly. Because I have 6 months, he said. I didn't understand at first. 6 months until what? He turned to look at me, and something in his eyes made my heart clench. I have a brain tumor, he said quietly. Inoperable. I start aggressive treatment next week. Chemo and radiation. The doctors give me 6 months. Maybe a year if I'm lucky and the treatment works better than expected. The world tilted. I stared at him. processing, trying to make sense of what he'd just said. That's the unexpected confession, I managed to say. Yeah, he said. That's the one. I didn't know what to say, what to feel. My mind was racing. This man, this kind, gentle, honest man who made me laugh and feel seen was dying. I'm sorry, I said. It sounded pathetically inadequate. Don't be, he said. I've had time to process it, to accept it. Mostly. How long have you known? 3 months. I've been trying to figure out how to live with it, how to spend whatever time I have left doing things that matter. And you spent tonight on a blind date with a stranger? He smiled, sad but genuine. I spent tonight with someone who made me forget for a few hours. Someone who talked to me like I was normal, like I was just Daniel, not dying Daniel, not poor Daniel with the tumor. Just me. Tears were falling now. I couldn't stop them. I shouldn't have told you, he said, looking pained. I didn't mean to ruin this. It's just, I can't do this if you don't know. I can't sit here pretending everything's fine when it's not. I'm glad you told me, I said, wiping at my tears. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. But I did. I had to say something. Had to make sense of this. Is this why you agreed to the date? Because you're running out of time and you wanted to feel alive, he finished. To feel connected to someone. To remember what it's like to look at someone and feel that spark of possibility. Even though there's no future in it, I said. Because there's no future in it, he corrected. I don't have to worry about disappointing you, or not being enough, or failing it forever. I just get to have now. The logic was both beautiful and heartbreaking. That's not fair to me, though, I said. The words came out sharper than I intended. You're asking me to care about someone who's going to leave. I'm not asking you for anything, he said gently. I told you because you deserve to know. But you can walk away right now. Go home. Forget tonight ever happened. I won't blame you. I won't think less of you. Could I do that? Could I just walk away? My rational mind was screaming at me to do exactly that. To protect myself. To not get involved in something that would only end in pain. But my heart, my stupid, hopeful heart was saying something else entirely. I need time to think, I said finally. Of course, he said. Take all the time you need. He stood up, pulled out his phone. This is my number, he said, showing me the screen. If you want to talk, or meet again, or just, I don't know, whatever you need. I added his number to my contacts. My hands were shaking. I should go, he said. Let you process all of this. Daniel, I said as he started to walk away. He turned back. Thank you for being honest, I said. That took courage. So did showing up tonight, he said. For both of us. I watched him walk away, disappearing into the night. And I sat there on that cold bench, staring at the fountain, trying to understand what had just happened. I'd come expecting nothing, ready for disappointment. Instead, I'd met someone extraordinary. Someone who made me feel things I thought I'd locked away for good. And he was dying. The cruelty of that hit me hard. Made me angry at the universe. At the unfairness of it all. I don't know how long I sat there. Long enough that I lost feeling in my toes. Long enough that the park emptied out completely. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. How did it go? I stared at the message. How did I even begin to answer that? Instead of texting back, I called her. She answered immediately. Tell me everything. Was he nice? Did you guys connect? Are you seeing him again? Emma, I said. My voice cracked. What's wrong? Her tone changed instantly. Did something happen? Are you okay? He has a brain tumor, I said. 6 months to live. Silence on the other end. Sophie, she said finally. I had no idea. I swear I didn't know. I know you didn't. Are you okay? Was I? I didn't know anymore. He told me at the end of the date. I explained. Said he couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. That I deserved to know. What are you going to do? I don't know. Do you like him? The question was simple, but the answer was complicated. Yeah, I admitted. I do. He's funny and kind and honest. He made me feel comfortable. Like I could be myself. But he's dying, Emma. How am I supposed to start something with someone who has an expiration date? You're not, she said gently. You're supposed to decide if 6 months with someone extraordinary is worth the pain that comes after. I closed my eyes. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm strong enough. You're one of the strongest people I know, Emma said. You survived heartbreak before. You rebuilt yourself. You learned to be happy alone. You can survive anything. That doesn't mean I want to put myself through it again. No, she agreed. It doesn't. And no one would blame you if you walked away. But Sophie, what if you regret not taking the chance? That was the question that kept me awake all night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the entire evening in my head. The way he'd smiled when he first saw me, the easy conversation, the laughter, the honesty, the confession. I thought about what he'd said, that he just wanted to feel alive, to feel connected, to have now instead of worrying about forever. Most people spent their whole lives worrying about forever, building towards some distant future, sacrificing the present for the promise of tomorrow. But what if tomorrow never came? What if all we really had was right now? By morning, I still didn't have answers, just more questions. I went through the motions of my day, made coffee, checked emails, worked on designs that didn't satisfy me. Everything felt hollow, empty. Around noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello, Sophie. It was Daniel. I hope it's okay that I'm calling. I wanted to check on you. Make sure you were okay after last night. Hearing his voice did something to me. Made everything real again. I'm okay, I said. Processing. That's fair, he said. Listen, I don't want to pressure you, but I was wondering if maybe we could meet. Just to talk. I feel like I dumped something huge on you, and then ran away. You didn't run away, I said. You gave me space. Still, I'd like to see you. If you're willing. I should have said no. Should have protected myself. Where? I asked instead. We met at a different cafe. Quieter. Less Valentine's. He was already there when I arrived. Looked tired. Like maybe he hadn't slept either. Hi, he said when I sat down. Hi. We ordered drinks. Sat in awkward silence for a moment. I've been thinking a lot since last night, I said finally. Me too. I'm scared, I admitted. Terrified, actually. Of caring about someone who I'm going to lose. I know, he said. And I'm sorry for putting you in this position. It's selfish of me. Wanting connection when I can't offer anything permanent. It's not selfish, I said. It's human. He looked at me. What are you saying? I took a breath. This was it. The moment where I chose fear or hope. I'm saying I want to get to know you, I said. Not dying Daniel. Not sick Daniel. Just Daniel. For however long that is. His eyes widened. Are you sure? No, I said honestly. I'm not sure about anything. But I know that walking away would haunt me. I'd spend the rest of my life wondering what if. Sophie, you don't have to. I know I don't have to, I interrupted. I want to. That's different. He reached across the table. Took my hand. His was warm. Solid. Real. I can't promise you forever, he said. I'm not asking for forever, I said. I'm asking for right now. And that's how it started. Not with a grand declaration or a dramatic kiss, but with a quiet decision to choose now over never. We spent almost every day together after that. Daniel took leave from work to focus on treatment and spending time doing things he loved. I adjusted my schedule, made time, chose him. We did simple things mostly. Walked through the city, visited museums, watched old movies, cooked dinner together, talked until late at night about everything and nothing. He told me about his childhood, growing up in a small town where everyone knew everyone, moving to the city for college and never leaving. I told him about my parents, my difficult relationship with my mother who never understood my career choice, my father who passed away when I was 20. We shared pieces of ourselves we'd kept hidden from others. He met Emma. They got along immediately. She texted me later. I like him. Even more now that I know the full story. I didn't meet his family. He didn't want that. Didn't want to put them through watching him get attached to someone new knowing how it would end. I understood, even though it hurt a little. The treatment started. Chemo every week. Radiation 3 times a week. I went with him to appointments. Held his hand while poison dripped into his veins. Tried not to cry when he threw up afterward. He was brave about it. Made jokes. Tried to downplay how awful he felt. But I saw through it. Saw the exhaustion. The pain. The fear he tried to hide. You don't have to be strong around me. I told him one night after a particularly rough session. I don't want you to see me like this, he said. Weak. Sick. I want all of you, I said. Strong, weak, sick, healthy. All of it. He cried then. Let himself break down in my arms. I'm so tired, Sophie, he whispered. So tired of fighting. Then rest, I said. I've got you. We existed in this strange space between hope and acceptance. Some days were good. He'd feel almost normal, and we'd go out, pretend everything was fine. Other days were hard. He'd sleep most of the day. I'd sit beside him reading or working quietly. Spring came, the world blooming around us while his body struggled. 3 months into treatment, the doctors ran new scans. We sat in the waiting room holding hands, both of us terrified. When the doctor called us in, his expression was unreadable. "The tumor hasn't grown," he said. "In fact, it's slightly smaller than before." Daniel's grip on my hand tightened. "What does that mean?" "It means the treatment is working better than we hoped," the doctor said. "I can't promise anything long-term, but this is encouraging." We left the hospital in a daze. "Did he just say I might have more time?" Daniel asked. "He did," I said, tears streaming down my face. He pulled me into his arms right there on the sidewalk, held me while we both cried. Relief and terror mixed together. More time. Not forever, but more. We celebrated that night. Ordered too much takeout. Drank wine. Laughed until our stomachs hurt. "I'm scared to hope," Daniel admitted later. "Me too," I said. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe we can be scared and hopeful at the same time." He kissed me then. Properly. For the first time. It was gentle and desperate and perfect. "I love you," he whispered against my lips. "I love you too," I said back. We'd both been avoiding those words. Afraid of what they meant. Of the weight they carried. But we said them now. Let them be real. The months that followed were the best and worst of my life. Best because I'd never felt so connected to another person. So understood. So loved. Worst because every good day was shadowed by the knowledge that it might not last. We didn't waste time. Didn't put things off. If we wanted to do something, we did it. He took me to his favorite spot outside the city. A lake where he'd gone as a kid. We rented a cabin for a weekend. Just us and the water and the quiet. "This is where I want my ashes scattered," he said one morning as we sat on the dock. I flinched. "Don't. We have to talk about it eventually," he said gently. "Not today," I said. "Please. Not today." He pulled me close. "Okay. Not today. But eventually we did talk about it. About his wishes. What he wanted. Who should get his things. It was the hardest conversation of my life. "I want you to be happy after," he said. "I want you to move on. Find someone who can give you forever." "I don't want someone else," I said. "I want you. You'll have me," he said. "In memories. In the time we had. But don't let loving me stop you from living." 6 months turned into 8. 8 into 10. The tumor was still there. Still dangerous. But stable. We existed in this fragile bubble, knowing it could burst at any moment, but trying not to think about it. Until one morning when he woke up with a splitting headache. Worse than usual. The hospital. Emergency scans. Doctors with concerned faces. The tumor had grown. Aggressively. Nothing more they could do. "How long?" I asked. "Weeks," the doctor said. "Maybe a month." My world shattered. Daniel was calmer than me. He'd known this was coming. Had prepared for it. I hadn't. Even with all the warnings. All the preparation. I wasn't ready. We went home. Set up hospice care. Made him comfortable. His family came. His sisters who'd tormented him lovingly. His parents who tried to be strong. They welcomed me. Thanked me for the time I'd given him. The happiness. "He talks about you constantly," his mother said. "You made these last months bearable." Emma visited. Brought food I couldn't eat. Sat with me when I needed to cry. "You did something incredible," she told me. "You chose love even knowing how it would end. Was it worth it?" I asked her. She took my hand. "Only you can answer that." The last week was the hardest. He slept most of the time. Woke up confused. In pain. I stayed by his side. Held his hand. Talked to him even when I wasn't sure he could hear me. "I'm so glad we met," I told him. "So glad you were honest that night. So glad I didn't walk away." He squeezed my hand weakly. On the last day, he was more alert than he'd been in days. "Sophie," he whispered. "I'm here." "Thank you," he said. "For 6 months. For now. For everything. Thank you for choosing me," I said through tears. "Easiest choice I ever made," he said. He fell asleep after that. Peaceful. He didn't wake up again. I was holding his hand when he died. His family around us. All of us crying. The grief was overwhelming. Crushing. Made it hard to breathe. But underneath it, woven through it, was something else. Gratitude. For the time we'd had. For the love we'd shared. For the choice we'd both made to have now instead of nothing. It's been 6 months since he died. I still cry. Still miss him. Still reach for my phone to text him before remembering he's gone. But I'm okay. Not all the time. But enough. I scattered his ashes at the lake like he wanted. His family and Emma came with me. I visit sometimes. Sit on that dock and talk to him. Tell him about my life. The projects I'm working on. The things I think he'd find funny. I'm not dating. Not ready for that. Maybe I never will be. But I'm not closed off either. Not hiding anymore. Because Daniel taught me something important. That love isn't about forever. It's about showing up. Being present. Choosing connection even when it's scary. That 6 months with someone extraordinary is worth a lifetime of playing it safe. That now is all we really have. And it's enough. I carry him with me. Not as a weight. As a gift. The gift of knowing what it means to be truly seen. Truly loved. And if I could go back to that Valentine's Day, to that moment when he told me his truth, I'd make the same choice. Every single time. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.